That's Diddy Kong Racing. That's the Diddy Kong Racing theme song. That's what I have stuck in my head today. Okay. Jesse, good morning. Easy Dora, good morning. Cyber, good morning. Oh. Oh, crap. Isidora was actually singing the Mary Poppins song that I was singing before I started the stream. Hmm. Thank you for that. Oh. Delicious. Do I like it? Do I like this angle? I think I like that one better. That's good. Zodiac. Welcome. Welcome back. I am back at it again. I do have my smoothie. That was indeed the song, Isidora, and good morning. It was a spoonful of sugar makes a medicine go down. Good morning, Lindsay. Also, Cyber, I get that reference. Well, Maddie's here. Oh, Maddie, thank goodness. Okay. I hope you're enjoying your day off so far, Maddie. Lindsay, what did I say that I was gonna make today's conversation? The perception of intimidation. Oh, okay. Oh, I know this topic's a can of worms. Okay, so I'm in the music industry, somewhat. The music industry, particularly in Los Angeles, but I'm not going to limit to Los Angeles because, as you know, there are several hotspots of music around the country, i.e., Nashville, San Francisco, New York City, Austin, Texas, Seattle, Washington, etc. But I live in this bubble, so I'm going to more speak to my experiences in this one. But just know that quite a few of these things apply to any social music city. So, here in Los Angeles, there are a lot of entertainers, there's a lot of artists But something that they don't think about is that it's also a very social city, as most like big, densely populated cities are. And so a lot of your maneuvering and moving throughout the music industry requires you to be at least somewhat social, um, which I think a lot of people don't think about. I think a lot of people think, like, I need to be an amazing musician and then my career will happen. But unfortunately, your music is half, if not less than half, of the battle, from my experience. I think that having good music helps, but also being sociable or being approachable or being memorable, there's a lot of other things that kind of play a big part or a big role. And whether or not people are going to remember your music, care about your music, want to use your music, would like to make music with you, it's just going to make a difference in your career. And just like making friends, if you're seen as a particularly intimidating person, it can actually stunt your growth in this field. But the weird thing about it is, obviously, everybody has a slightly different version of what they think is intimidating, and some people aren't going to be able to help how intimidating they come off. For example, there's kind of like there's kind of an unfair standard or double standard, I would say, against, for example, women who are very tall. I mean, unless you're a model, if you're a woman and you're like 6'4", maneuvering like a music scene, it's probably going to be. I'm just gonna say a lot of people are going to see you as unapproachable socially, and that's not exactly something you can change. You can't like go around like crouch down to the ground. Good morning, Leanna. You can't go around crouch down to the ground. And I think there are certain things about my personality and my physique that make me just by default intimidating that I can't change either. Or there's certain things about my personality that make me comfortable that I can't change to make myself more or less intimidating. But it's weird because some of the perception of intimidation, I mean, I guess reflects on the person, right? For example, some guys feeling intimidated by tall women, not because the woman's tall, but because they are shorter than the woman that's tall, right? Like if a woman's 6 feet tall, a man that's maybe 6'4" or 7 feet isn't going to be as intimidated by her as a man who's 5'9". And I think the same thing kind of goes with me, where there's some people that are just intimidated by, I don't know, black person. Um, Obviously, black people in the music scene out here in Los Angeles aren't intimidated by me and will come up and talk to me. I can talk to them. They would like to work with me. Good morning, Jordan. But, and there are things that I find intimidating. I find people who do not smile intimidating, which is very funny because I don't smile. I very rarely smile when I'm working. I usually don't smile when I'm on stage. I don't smile when I'm maneuvering around like a networking field, unless I'm talking specifically to one person who is funny. I don't really give out smiles for free. And so it's interesting that that's something that I also find intimidating in people because it is kind of a reflection of myself, I guess. Maddie says they're intimidated by everybody at first. Wow. Maybe intimidation is a form of threat, right? Like feeling threatened somewhat. So I think that it didn't used to happen, but I mean, it doesn't happen anymore, but I used to be very threatened by anybody who I thought was beyond me skill wise. Like they just knew how to do things better than me. Doesn't happen anymore, but that used to be a thing. I'm almost ashamed to admit. Lindsay says, "Oh, other people don't smile. I'm at least a little bit more intimidated." Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think also, uh, I don't want to go specifically into um, my experience with women or how growing up, I grew up immediately around way more women than I did men. And so I do particularly view women a specific way. The only woman in my household that was younger than me was my little sister Ashley. And I think because of that, I kind of just assume that every woman that I run into in the world knows more than me, and also has more power than I do. So I think I just have like a pretty natural fear of women everywhere, especially angry women. And I found out that this is not normal. This is not a thing that all dudes have. Have you ever I promise I'm not changing the subject, but this ties in. Believe me. Oh, this is gonna be hard because this is gonna talk about being whooped a little bit. So I know not everybody was whooped. I know not everybody's parents practiced corporal punishment. I know not everybody was hit a lot as a kid, or maybe you were and you don't want to talk about it, which I totally understand that as well. But sorry, I'm putting on socks. My feetsies are cold. There's been so many times where I've seen a kid wiling out in like a grocery store or something like that, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna get it. I've like had that mindset. I'm like, oh my god, this kid, is he out of his mind? He's gonna get tore up. But there is no tearing up, down, or any which way. He's fine. He's fine. The adult just seems to be kind of slightly annoyed, but more so just kind of like negligent. They're like, whatever, let him while out. I have that a lot of times for women. I have like the same kind of fear of women that I do of like that I did for adults when I was a kid. And some kids do not have that fear of adults. Some kids are like, these adults can't stop me. They can't do anything to me. And so when I've seen like maybe there's a couple and the guy does something or says something really wild to the woman he's with, or anybody says anything kind of wild to like an older woman, I'm like, oh my god, it's over for you, dude. And it's sometimes not, and that's wild to me. Anyways, so I generally find women sometimes intimidating, but it's not like it doesn't keep me from talking to them or anything. I just think, oh, this person could probably like ruin my life. Lindsay says, if every man operated that way, I kind of think the world would be a better place. That's funny. Maybe it would actually. I don't know. That's probably a good point. I'm self-conscious of my teeth, says Liana, so I don't smile with them much. Thus, people who don't know me think I'm not smiling for these people. People tell me I have a very affable personality. Whoa. What is that? That's like a notification thing for something. It's not lying. Anyways, that's distracting. Say I'm a very affable personality. I don't know you that well, Cypher, but I can agree with this. And I know that I have a personality that seeks to reduce tension and try to get everyone to get along. Lately, though, I have learned that not everyone wants to get along, and I have to accept that. So Casual says, So Casual says, what you're playing right now is beautiful. Is it a piece of music or just something you were randomly thrown together? I was talking So Casual, so it was probably just random improv. I started off playing Spring Street, but I think it kind of morphed into just improv. Okay. Symphonic Charms, welcome. It's been a while. And they're gonna go wash their face. I think a lot of the other in for it thought has something to do with different standards of respect, but definitely linked to punishment too. It's yeah. I mean, different standards of respect because I think that as a kid, obviously I didn't understand respect. I understood fear, and so any form of respect had to be linked to punishment for me as a kid because I didn't understand the concept of respect. And something that's really weird. Oh, sorry. I think a mosquito bit my ankle or something, and it's just itching. This is horrible to be doing on stream. But I think I think that's how I understood respect more so as fear as a kid. And so when I see in America we have kind of, I guess, as a standard, Americans have very little respect for anything or anybody. I'm not saying that as like a dig, like, oh, Americans are horrible human beings. But just in my travels, mm, in my travels, which granted have been limited, I haven't been everywhere, but I've been a lot of places. And there does seem to be a greater trade of respect in other countries where people just don't do things or people just don't say things because it's disrespectful or because they would like to keep the peace or because it's just, why bother? That's going to make trouble. Let's not make trouble. And I think somewhere along America's infancy, it saw any form of regulation as an infringement on freedom, which was like America's whole thing, freedom, freedom. So I think that forced or implied or innate respect for anything, since it's seen as a, a lack of or an infringement of freedom, most Americans just don't respect anything. And even if we have things we probably quote unquote should respect, I'm supposed to respect the police, or we're supposed to respect the flag, or we're supposed to respect the troops, or we're supposed to respect the law or the Constitution, or we're supposed to respect teachers, and we're supposed to respect landlords, and we're supposed to respect everybody's different ideologies and theological beliefs. All this, all these things that we should and are supposed to respect, nobody really respects or cares about because we're like, nah, this is, it's a free country. I can do whatever I want. You haven't earned my respect. And so, in a society like that, I think that just nobody really respects anything. Um, yeah, because freedom. And so there are certain things that I respect. It's a short list, but it is a list. I respect employees of any big anything. Like I respect retail workers. I respect food service workers. I respect servants. I guess sounds like a demeaning word, but I'm going to use that as kind of an umbrella term for just people who are like customer service people, social workers. I respect servants, social servants, society's servants. We're all kind of a servant. Mm. Maddie's landlord has earned a negative respect. I mean, same here. Yeah, I would say that I give blind respect to service workers. So, if I go to a place and there's a counter between me and somebody else, I take on the role of is there any way that you guys sell webcams here? They're like, no, we don't have those, and I'm like, thanks, so thank you. Have a good day. That's my treatment of service workers. I know that is not most people's treatment of service workers because I've been a service worker and I was not treated that way. And I know that in this country, again, freedom. So why should I just give anybody anything? I think, but yeah, they get blind respect. And there's probably a few other things in this country that do get blind respect for me. I just can't think of any right now. Teachers, kind of, unless they prove themselves to be disrespectful. I kind of respect teachers. I feel like I respect people that are going out of their way to help people. I'm sorry, I saw something really wild just now. People that are just going out of their way to help people. Oh, I don't know how we got on that from intimidation, but yeah. I think that a lot of people have not approached me because they found me intimidating. And some of those things I can change, and some of those things are just unfortunately who I am, what I look like, what I sound like, how I physically move. And I can't really change those things. I had an anecdote that I thought of when you said people are intimidated by you yesterday. Oh, lay it on me, Lindsay. I'm going to go ahead and start um, a slightly long but cohesive rendition of Vanilla while you do that. Hello, Sevka, and welcome back to the fold. Liana, I can't tell if you're making a joke or not. Because the first time you saw me, I was wearing a captain's hat. I was a different man. Ooh. It's rough with one hand, isn't it? I'm just drinking a smoothie, Sevka. So I met one of my best friends. Ooh. Sorry, I got bumped. So I met one of my best friends, Vanessa, in college. Oh, Vanessa sounds nice. Even at the silly ice cream social event, she came up to me. I was alone and complimented my hair, and we immediately hit it off. She's always been the life of the party. She makes friends wherever she goes and generally makes people at ease. Whoa, whoa. Hey, that's kind of funny. Sorry about that, guys. Or for whoever who's still here. My monitor's down. My Wi-Fi died. I guess at least I wasn't doing an OBS stream. I wouldn't be able to still even appear. But I'm gonna finish reading Lindsay's comment, or at least what it was able to come through the monitor before my internet crashed. Because she's a black woman, I think many people interpret her as intimidating with zero based on her actual behavior. One of her roommates now, white dude, treats her like she's rude, scary often. And I think people need to reflect on things because they don't even realize it's affecting their perception of someone. Yeah. Oh man. Yes, this is a thing. This is a very real thing. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't gonna say that. I was trying to leave that out of my intimidation, but yeah, it can be intimidating because of that. I think the entire time I was in Japan, oh man, I loved it. There's this really weird thing though, and I've kind of touched on this a little bit about Japan. Maybe I've even touched on it in a very big, deep, well thought out way. But this thing happens in Japan where, hold on. This thing happens in Japan where, wait, who gave $3? Sorry, I can't see it because my monitor's down. I can't see anything. I'm at a handicap now without my monitor. But this thing happens in Japan for me, where I show up and the people that are my people, if that makes sense. Like the people that are my people, they're the ones that are like meeting me at the airport. They're the ones that are helping me out with the show. They're the ones that are showing up to the show. They're the ones that are DJing with me. They're the ones that are having conversations with me. They're having dinner with me every night. They're taking me around the city. They're taking me to, I don't know, Universal Studios. They're really showing me around. They're really doing the most. And I'm fortunate to have those people. But I will say that my friends in Japan, none of which you won't say by name because I don't want any of this to come off as negative, but I will say that my friends that I have in Japan are strange outliers. I don't have a really good example of that here in Los Angeles because Los Angeles is so particularly weird. But it would almost be like, and I know a lot of you guys have not been to Arizona, but Arizona is a really red state and it's particularly Republican, very, very conservative, very, what have you. So if you were an artist and you were going into Arizona and you were, let's say you were a queer artist, when you show up to Arizona, your homies will pick you up and they'll take you to the show and you'll perform at like in a queer friendly space, in like a safe space. But that space is a bubble and it is not indicative of the whole. I hope what I'm saying is making sense. If not, somebody can stop me and I can kind of flesh that out more. But the bubble that you're in is not indicative of the whole. And that is Japan for me. When I go to Japan, I'm surrounded by people who know who Omniboy is. They know my music, they know my track record, they know my personality to at least some extent, and they're there for it. They're there for it. However, once I walk out of that bubble, things that are happening around me, my social interactions, and the way I'm treated differ pretty wildly, I will say. And the reason I'm returning specifically to the subject of Japan, and the reason that I kind of always use Japan when I'm talking about this, is because I've spent more time in Japan than I have in any other Asian country. And a lot of people have this kind of paradise complex for Japan, especially Tokyo, where they're like, oh, everything's perfect there. I would like to move there. It's so clean there. The food's so good there. You can get great food at 7-Eleven. There's this, there's that, there's everything I want. And a lot of people aren't thinking about how strong xenophobia works in a place like Japan. And particularly if you are black or somebody with very dark skin, how that can work not in your favor, how that can actually work against you. And so I would say when I go to Japan, I have a great time because I'm going to Japan as Omniboy and will kind of be surrounded by people who know who I am. They'll know what that means. They're like, oh, this man makes music and it's music that I particularly like. But for some rando on the street or on the train or in a 7-Eleven or in a restaurant, um, they just see, a black man, like a particularly tall black man coming around. And even those that aren't afraid of me, they don't particularly like me. I always use the analogy of like, I always use the analogy of a snake. For example, if right now I saw a snake slithering down the sidewalk of my Alhambra home, I would think to myself, wow, that's wild. I haven't seen one of those around here before. I gotta get a picture, maybe get a video. Maybe I tell you guys, I'm like, guys, there's a snake outside. Maybe I point the camera at it, I get some cool footage of the snake. Um, I tell other people, they come see the snake. We kind of huddle around each other and we talk about our own experiences we've had with snakes. Oh, a snake bit me once. Yeah, I don't know. I saw a snake at a zoo this one time. One time I came across a dead snake on the road and it did that, you you see it as a spectacle. You don't necessarily want that snake in your home. You don't really want it to touch you. You don't want to get too close to it. You don't really know what it's about. You don't know a lot about it, but you've seen, and you've read places that snakes are kind of dangerous. But, it kind of looks interesting because you don't see it very often. So you're intrigued at most. And I think that's how I'm seen in Japan. It's like I'm a snake. And so a lot of people, especially if they're in Japan for like I'll say people like me, and you can fill in the blanks on what that means. If they're in Japan for a short period of time and you don't pay too much attention to it, it can feel like love, right? If I'm a snake and I'm slithering down the sidewalk and I'm looking at everybody opening their blinds and going like, oh my god, mom, oh my god, get dad, like come on, get the camera. And everybody coming out, oh my god, they're coming up to the snake. Oh wow, is that a rattle? I think that's a rattlesnake. That's so cool. We're just gonna pose for this picture. If you're the snake, you might mistake that for love or adoration. But it is not that. It is spectacle. And as soon as the spectacle is done, they don't really want to talk to you. They don't really want to be associated with you. They don't want you talking to their friends or their children or anything like that. And I think that is some of that. Thank you, Maddie, by the way. It was the $3 was for Maddie, and it worked. That that's my experience in Japan. Both times I went to Japan. And it's something that I have to just shift my mode, when I'm there, which isn't a huge jump. I don't have to change myself that much to get along, to get by. But there are certain things that can happen here. For example, even as a grown man, and how much people fear, say, pedophiles. If I'm in a grocery store and there's a woman that's like, walking with her. She's got like, I don't know, like a 6-year-old or something like that, or 7-year-old with her, and like a 7-year-old son. And the dude's like, the kid's like looking around and looks over at me, and I see that he's wearing like a Ninja Turtle shirt. I can look at that kid and go like, hey, dope shirt. And depending on the kid's temperament, the kid will like, maneuver behind his mom's leg because he's afraid of me, or the kid will like look down the floor and say, oh, thank you, or the kid will be like really cool and be like, yeah, thanks, I love Ninja Turtles. But I can do that. And at worst, the mom kind of like looks at me like, oh, what? But usually the mom, even if it's like a white lady, is going to be like somewhat encouraging, like, yeah. And she can kind of keep her whatever her notions are to herself for the most part. In Japan, this is not the case. In Japan, I wouldn't even try to do that. I would never do that. In Japan, I'm not even talking to another person. But like I said, while I was there, I was insulated with like my crew of people. But what's interesting is in the same way that I used the queer bubble, if like you were going to a venue in Arizona and you were in a queer safe space, I exist in like a safe space in Japan, and I'm insulated by people who are not the norm. People who are like strange in their own regard, right? They're almost rejected a little bit by their society. Like when I go home, they're also still weird in the construct, in the context of Japan. They're like the weird ones. And then when I come up to Japan, they're kind of surrounded around me as like weird ones. But I don't know that the first time I go. I think, oh, these are just regular Japanese citizens. So if they like me, so should the others. And no, this is not true. Sefka says, Omni, what do you think about Azuria and Mia Gladstone? Well, they're both very good friends of mine, in very different ways. I don't know that they've ever met, although they're both from the New York, New Jersey area. Well, not really from there. Sky's lived quite a few places. I like Sky a lot. I lived with Sky for about a year, Sevka, and we come from a very similar music scene. Our music doesn't sound the same anymore. Neither one of us are part of that scene, but we come from a very similar music scene. So me and Sky have a lot of like old friends in common, as it were. However, me and Mia only know each other through Instagram, and then had to meet in person several times, after that. So I'm close with both of them. They're two very different things to me. Sky's more like a like a homie that I would play video games with, I guess. Play video games with. Maybe like look at a movie or a TV show with. And Mia is somebody that I would take like a nature hike with, go for a long walk or something like that and talk about weird spiritual stuff, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, two different but very, very important people in my life. Okay. Give you one guess why I'm late. Is Ava late because of the vet? Sorry. Sorry, I'm really behind on comments. I promise I'll get to the bottom of the chat. Okay. Does it have something to do with the cat? Ava asks Jordan. Ava confirms that it does. Omni, what do you think of Missouri? Let's only re-asked it. I did answer it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Children's song, row your boat, says Ava. Oh my goodness. I don't understand that being a signal. Is there something to that? What about new songs or features? I'm still working on music, but no release dates right now, Sevka. Whistling is a classic way of saying you're minding your own business. That is kind of interesting. I do like that, by the way. I do like that as a mannerism. Because, yeah, whistling means you are in your own world. You are focused on what you're doing. You're preoccupied. But whistling has socially then been used to aggressively tell people, I'm not looking at you, I'm not focusing on you, I'm minding my own business over here. But then the third level of that is whistling can sometimes draw attention to the thing that you're allegedly signaling you're not paying attention to. If that makes sense? It's so weird. It's very complicated. I never really think about that, Ava. Thanks for bringing that up. Just never had a reaction like that until after I transitioned. So just remembering that folks notice if you shy away and internalizing it. Sorry, not a fun topic. I don't feel like most of the topics in this stream are fun, Ava, so yeah. Sometimes whistling can be rude. It's so weird how the third level of that works. Yeah, it's like one level, I'm minding my own business. The second level is, I am intentionally not paying attention to this thing. And the third level is, hey everybody, look at this thing that I'm intentionally not paying attention to. Social dynamics are weird. Okay, Jordan says whistling when in flow is different from whistling to make a point. That could have good or bad intent. Yes, sometimes a whistle can be threatening. I cannot whistle, so I can't play that game. But yeah, that being said, I don't want anybody, what I was saying about Japan, I don't want anybody to think I don't like Japan. I do like Japan. However, Japan is just very, very homogenous and is a very good antithesis to how America works, where most people don't really look the same out here versus in Japan, most people look the same. So if you show up and you don't look like that, there's an immediate reaction of like otherisms that come into play where it's like, oh, I'm not one of you. I get it. And this isn't Tokyo, guys. I'm talking about Tokyo, Osaka. Ironically, people were way cooler to me in Osaka. I want to say that. I don't know if anybody in this stream has been to Osaka or live in Osaka or likes Osaka, but if you're black and you're in Japan, people in Osaka are just going to treat you nicer. This is my experience, and I've actually talked to other people about this, and it was also their experience, so I'm not crazy. It's a thing. I don't know why it's a thing. There are quite a bit of black people in Osaka, so that might have something to do with it. But yeah, yeah. Being othered is such a unique and weird feeling. It is, Jordan. It is. Hmm. I had tall ginger boy and a black girl with me, and those two got a lot of stairs. Yeah, that sounds about right. Aren't people in Osaka kind of mocked for a similar wave in the South? Yeah. They are. They are mocked for a similar wave. They have like a weird accent, and but uh, uh, unlike the South, they're extremely accepting of like. I'm gonna use the term alternative lifestyles, and I just want to say, me by having dark skin is an alternative lifestyle according to them. So I think they're just way more accepting, and they're just cooler down there. I had like a whole thing. Oh man, I don't want to make this a bummer stream, guys. I'll play some really happy music so that I can counter some of the things that I'm gonna say, because some of the things I'm gonna say are gonna sound like they're bummer talk. I get weird reactions from the randos when I go to Lolita in public, I bet. But the best reactions I get is y'all going to a party. And me and my friend are like, yeah, oh, that's nice. A proper party. If so, that would make sense because of the whole other people banding together. Yeah. Other people love each other. I mean, they don't, but they should. They should. Ava says, I get stared at too sometimes. It's very off-putting. I had a guy ask for directions from behind, and when I turned to respond, I saw it wasn't Japanese, and his face soured. He laughed. So Kevin says, do you speak Japanese on me? My Japanese is extremely rusty and bad now because I haven't had to in a long time. I was trying to keep it up with Duolingo after I got back from Japan, but we can see where that went. Oh my god. Eat noodle when you're cold. Oh my god. That's really funny, Ava. That sucks and that's really painful. But I think we can all agree that sometimes when it's being told, it's funny. It's funny. Because that's happened to me. It's definitely happened to me. I mean, okay, wait, let me hold on. Nobody is mistaking me for a Japanese person. From behind, from beneath, from above, no one is like tapping me on the shoulder. But there have definitely been some people, and I've talked about this at length in older streams, maybe before we even hit 100, that did not know that I was black. Liked my music, was like, oh, cool, cute, fun, anime, boppy stuff. But back then, I did not have my logo as a drawing of me. My logo is just, some fancy text, maybe a glove here or there, and then like anime drawings. And so people would meet me in person, and I could see the kind of crestfallen, like, oh, you're Omni Boy. Okay, I get it. What, Omni, is that like an African name or something? I thought it was like an anime thing. Yeah, I can see people get upset. And it's okay. It's okay. It does hurt, but like, it's okay. It's funny. He was asking for directions to McDonald's. Well, screw that guy. Who's going to McDonald's? Yeah, it is. In his defense, my Japanese wasn't good enough to give good directions anyway, so he's right to judge. I could have pointed, I knew where McDonald's was. That's funny. That's funny. Um, there's this thing. There's this thing. Oh, I really don't want to talk about this, so I'm gonna make it really brief. There is a few very, very common pairings when we talk about um, friends and even like romantic couples. I feel like growing up, I saw whenever I was seeing a biracial couple, there was if it was black and white, it was always black man, white woman. It was never black woman, white man. Still to this day, when I see black woman, white man, I am like, oh, they did it the other way. And I don't know exactly why that was, is, and will be for the foreseeable future, but it is a thing. And in my experience, dating anybody white, there is this kind of thing in the back of my head where I'm like, oh, um, these parents are going to hate me. And it's like, probably, maybe not I shouldn't start point negative, as somebody once told me. Don't start point negative, start point positive. These people are going to love you. But I always kind of think, I don't know, kind of think these people are going to hate me. And I will say, they've always hated me. And there's never been anything I could do about it. I would talk about a more recent, very personal experience I had with somebody's parents, but I won't because sometimes she still comes into the streams. She doesn't, but she did. She did one time, and it was bad. I hate Discord. Um, but yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible, and so being othered is really weird because I feel like you just think about things like a lot of people aren't going to think about. Um, I have a lot of neighbors. The neighbors in my immediate building are all Hispanic. East Los Angeles, literally the area East LA, is very Hispanic. Not a very dope place for me to be hanging out because I didn't realize that there is a lot of Hispanic and black tensions here in Los Angeles because where I come from, it's the opposite of that. Black and Hispanic people are basically like one and the same. They like get along very well. Here, that's not the case. Going to East LA can be a harrowing adventure for me, and so that's something that they don't have to think about, but it's something I have to think about. What? Yeah, Lindsay, don't apologize. Let's chill. Yo, y'all need to add some likes. Oh, says Cyber. Oh, thanks, Cyber. I appreciate that. Since there's a decent amount of people in here, I will start playing a little bit of music. I'm not going to just sit here and talk about racism for the next hour and a half. But yeah, stuff is hard. Yeah, stuff is hard. Things suck a lot of the time. And um, it's 2020. When my mother was alive, she liked you very much, says Sevka. What? Does your whole family know who I am, Sevka? Does your family care about my music more than mine does? Whoa! I know you. Most comments for interracial couples is to mention how beautiful the kids would be. Ew! Thank you! Thank you! Yes! It's disgusting! I hate that! Oh. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad and also very upset that you said that. I had a very... Oh... I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna talk about that. Because I've already shown how upsetting that topic is. I will just say I had a very long... Oh no, I can't even say that. I live in Alhambra. And you know what that means, but a lot of other people in this stream do not know what that means. So I'll just say that and I'll move on. Hey, my eyes, my art. Oh, wow, you're back. Oh my goodness, how have you been? about something else. We gotta talk about something else, guys. I'll get mad in the stream. Oh. Oh, wow. No. I was reading a post about a guy who ran for our city council last year, and he was a guy man. Oh, a gay man, sorry. Oh, I did the thing that Soka does. He was a gay man who posted on Facebook looking for egg donors, and he specifically requested women of color for donors. I bet he did. I bet he did. It was my friend had a mixed baby. She got a million questions about her baby's hair before she was born. Yeah, sounds about right. Guys, I'm getting upset. You're gonna ruin. What's your name song? You're gonna. I said, what's your name? Now I'm becoming a monster. That's what I'm gonna just start saying to people, or saying about people that I don't want to mention their name in the stream. Guys, this is Leanna's song. It's being tarnished with my anger. Okay, okay, okay. You know what's really weird, Maddie? Sometimes when you comment, I think you're my mom. Not because not because my mom's name is Maddie, but because your profile picture on here, because it's so small and shrunken, it actually looks like my mom's profile picture on Facebook. Oh. Whoa, Oni. Oni? Is that you? What'd you have for breakfast? Well, I had a big cup of fruit. So I don't know if you count that. Afternoon, Omni says Crow. Can I request something? You sure can, Crow. What would your ideal what would the ideal date for you? What would be the ideal date for you? I think I've been on my ideal date. But I wasn't dating anyone when I went on it. I was by myself. It was pretty dope though. Cyber. Cyber. I kind of just like exploring for a date. I like getting on like a subway or a train and just walking around randomly. I feel like it's this really cool thing when you're put in a new environment that isn't particularly themed, right? Like going to Disneyland isn't the same. Like get on the subway, get off at random stops, just walk around because one, you're talking to this person a lot because there's nothing else to pass the time, and two, you're seeing new things with this person together. And I think something that's very interesting about a date or just spending time with somebody that you care about is not showing them your things, right? You're not like, here's a movie I love. I would like you to see it too. And they're not like, here's a restaurant I really like. I would like to take you there. It's like you're going to things that neither one of you know, because seeing somebody else react to things that you don't know either, like having genuine reactions to things, is something I try to orchestrate as much as possible, right? Yes. Anyway, Sevka says, Omni, what do you think about Ehio Robo? You're just naming my friend, Sevka. Ehio Robo's my friend. That dude's like, that, I mean, he kind of transcends friend. That guy's like family. The guy's like, he calls me, I call him my brother, he calls me his cousin. Yeah, we're like super close. Um, yeah. Yeah, but I like him a lot. That dude's important. Could you play the strings after typewriter in Rainbow? That's nearly at the end. Oh my god. No. Not from memory, Crow, but I could maybe figure them out. Maybe. I can hear them in my head. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. I can hear the rhythm of it. I don't know if I can find those notes though, because I didn't play those notes on the piano. I clicked them out with my mouse. Ooh, crap! I accidentally maximized the video and paused it, I guess. Thank you for Double It, says Leanna. Thank you, Leanna, for listening to it. Oh, thanks, Cyber. Thanks for asking that question. I appreciate it. Okay. But that's good date. That's good date. Omni, can you play Now on My Watch Melody? I can do that. I do have that by memory. But dates are weird, right? Because I don't think I'm good at them. In fact, I had a not really a talk with my friends. I went out with two of my friends. Do you ever hear two people talking about you? Not about you, but they're like, man, I hate it when people play piano on YouTube. And you're kind of quietly sitting on the side like, yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah, that's mad whack. I hate that. Like, that ever happen to you? Because that happens to me a lot. Anyways, I went out with two of my friends. One's name was Alani, and the other one's name was Jerica. And I'm just now realizing they did not know each other, and I was the connective friend there. But we went out, the three of us, and they were talking about, don't you just hate it when men do this? Men are trash. I hate it when men do this. Men be tall and stuff. Men be playing music and stuff. Men be like taking the subway when they got cars. Talking like caring about the environment. It's because you broke. Like they were saying a lot of stuff like that. And I was like just kind of sitting there on the side like with my boba. Also, I had jacked up my hairline. I know that's not important. That's not important at all to the story, but I just want you guys to know that while I was sitting there very embarrassed, I also had a ridiculous hairline that I had ruined. Um, yeah, my hairline was trash. It was insane. It was insane. I'm like, I want to look it up. I want to look it up. Guys, I had ruined my hairline. This is not important to the. This is not important. Oh. But anyways, they were talking about like, yo, I hate it when men don't have an idea for the date, when they just want to hang out and like, they don't have a plan. And that is my whole thing. I like ask somebody, hey, you want to hang out? And I'm like, when are you free till? And they're like, oh, just whenever. Like, I have all the day off. And I'm like, all right, bring like shoes that you're comfortable walking in. And then we'll just like go random places and find some pretty cool stuff sometimes. Like, honestly, most of the people that I've been friends with or even dated, the things that become like our thing is usually because we were just walking through like Koreatown and accidentally found something. And then homie was like, oh, this is actually really cool. I'm going to come back here later. I'm like, urban exploration, baby. Anyways, I demolished my hairline, and I'll explain how. I'll explain how, and I'll explain why. So, when you're black, when you have two black parents, you come out black also. And a big thing in black culture is the barbershop. You guys know, you guys saw the movie, right? Anyways, there's barbershops all over Arizona, and that was kind of what I was partially raised in. Barbershops were really important. I used to always have like a Caesar haircut. If you don't know what a Caesar haircut is, just look it up. And when when I would go to get a haircut, it wasn't like I would go, you know, it's like me, my dad, some of my brothers. We're going to the barbershop. We're all getting this haircut. We're looking fresh because church is tomorrow, and we got to show up at church looking flossy as heck. And that's like a tradition is formed. You know, you get to know your barber gets to know you. You're talking. You get to know that weird guy that's always hanging out in the barbershop, but he's not a barber, and he's also not getting a haircut. He's just kind of there, and it's an important thing. And so when I moved to Los Angeles, two things happened. First of all, I lost my barber, and you can't just get a new barber. You can't just find one of those weird poles with the red, blue, and white stripes on it and go, "Oh, I guess you're my barber now." It's not like that, because you have this intimate connection with this dude, and you don't want to replace him. Like, I've known people to fly their barber out to them. Like, that's how attached they are to a barber, or they just won't get a haircut until they can go back to their hometown. They'll like do it a little bit themselves. Anyways, I lost my barber when I moved out to Los Angeles, and that combined with I have a nervous habit of where I'll twist and pull out my hair. I've told you guys about this yesterday about my beard when I had my facial hair. Like, when I was upset or uncomfortable, I just like pull at it and I end up pulling it out. It's gross, and I know, so I'm gonna move on now. But that is a habit that I have. I used to like twist at my hair when I was uncomfortable and nervous. Being homeless in Los Angeles, well, I was twisting at my hair a lot. And so it kind of turned into this weird like loose nap thing, this like fro that had like loose nap and twist in it. And so I just ended up twisting out the rest of it. And then my hair turned into loose twists, and then freeform twist, and then it got longer, and now it's this, whatever this is. This is not a thing that I intentionally was going for, nor was it something I went to a boutique or a hair salon for. I just did this to my head. So, the weird thing about twisting your hair is you can't twist the edges of it because the hair's not long enough there. Think of them as like baby hairs, if you're somebody that uses the term baby hairs. They're hairs that are like right on the edge, and they're too short to style, but they're too long to be unnoticeable. They just don't cooperate. So you have hairs like that, like it's like weird edge stubble. And I was like, I want to have that tight hairline, you know? The hairline, baby. You know what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. I had it. Look at this. You have a tight hairline. I wanted to have that with the twist, which I could have gotten if I went to a barbershop. But I was like, I can't go to a barbershop. I can't cheat on my barber. Maybe I can just use the same razor that I use to shave my face to edge up my hair. How hard could it be? And it wasn't hard. You know, it wasn't hard. But nobody had warned me that this really weird thing happens when you start cutting your own hairline. You know, where like, or just cutting your own hair. This really weird thing happens where you'll start cutting your hair, and then you just like won't be able to stop. What is that? People have told me it's called scissor happy. People have told me it's called emotional instability. I don't know. I'm not going to try to put a title on it right now, but like you cut up a little bit higher and you're like, it's a little bit even. I'll go a little bit up higher on this side. Oh, now it's uneven. I'll go up a little bit higher on this side. I basically did the equivalent of what jacked up bangs were to my head over the course of, I don't know, a year. And then, look, here's a picture of me and Jerica. This is loose fro. Look at the twists were kind of coming in, but it was mostly just a juicy fro. It was a juicy fro. In fact, I would love to look like that again, but it's never gonna happen. Anyways, miss you, Jerica. Love you, Jerica. And then me and Jerica also hanging out. Same girl, also getting boba, but with my friend Alani. Look at what I did to my hairline. What did I like? My forehead is not that big. You can even see faintly where there's supposed to be hair, and it wasn't falling out. I was cutting it back. I ruined my hairline. Oh, crap. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what that was. Um, what was the point of this story? Oh, right. Okay, so my perfect date is I just go. I just get on the subway and go to random places. And I went and I hung out with Jerica and Alani, and they were talking about how that's a horrible date idea. And I lied and agreed with them and said, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a horrible date idea. I would never do that to a woman. You ladies are right. Yeah, a man should have a plan. And I didn't even have a hairline. Jesse says, first time I tried to cut my own hair, my respect for my barber went through the roof. I feel you, Jesse. Same, same. He never had my hairline looking like that. He never had my hairline looking like that. That was awful. Um, I, you know what's really sad though? I didn't know I didn't know it was wrong. It happened so slowly, and I just kept, my hairline would start coming back in, and I was like, ew, and I would like shave because I'm like, ooh, I want a clean line right here, and hair doesn't all grow in an even line, so it would grow back like uneven. And then there was like this really weird phase where I had like twists, but then I had like this weird little like hair patch puff coming in. Why were they hanging out with me? Why would they hang out with somebody who clearly was. I was like having a crisis. It's so clear. Look at me, the freaking idiot holding that boba. I didn't deserve any boba. Ugh. Anyways, my hairline's back. It's here. There's twists in it now, actually. It's not separate from the rest of me, so that's cool. Omni, you were a man without a plan and without a hairline. It was a dark time for me. Also, both of those, one of those women in that photo is dating Stevie Weeby, which some of you know, that's his girlfriend. And the other girl in that photo, Jerica, who's amazing, moved to Chicago and is living with her boyfriend out there and never comes back and visits. So that's cool. Last time I went to a hair salon, says Easy Dora. I finished crying so bad that I never went on one again. And I learned to cut and do everything myself. Well, at least you're empowered. Easy Dora. But yeah, looking in the mirror and not liking what you see can be very, very traumatizing. I dare not mess with my hairline, only the temple area. You know what? Oni, you know what? That's how it started. It was because I used to have perfect like corners here. And I was like, I just want to get a perfect corner in there. I want to get that corner back, like the Barbies have it. So I would like cut a little corner. And I was like, oh, now it looks weird with the rest. So let me just like go across and make a perfect line from corner to corner. And I was like, this side's higher. Let's go up higher, go up, go up, go up, go up. I'm so glad that I stopped. I stopped one day and I looked in the mirror and I went, what am I doing? I have a razor bumps on my forehead. This is not how it's supposed to work. I never had forehead razor bumps when the barber did it. And so I started wearing a beanie, and I just wore a beanie for like 5 months, letting my hair grow back in. And so if you see any old pictures of me where I had like a Jack beanie on, that's why I did it. It's because my hairline was healing. Hairstyles will fight you tooth and nail and actually cut it short. Oh, to actually cut it short and not make you look like a golden girl. Now your hair is great on me, says Easy Door. Thanks, Easy. I'm trying to enjoy while it lasts. One day I will be bald, and I will look back on these days of a Herod hairy Omni, and I'll think, wow, I really did the thing. Yeah, it took so long to find a barber in Boston. I finally ended up going to my guy friend. One of my guy friend recommended. I read that as gay friend. Ava says, then the one time they did take my word for it and just straight up shaved the back of my hair. Oh my god. Did a weird bowl cut thing. Wow. That's dope. I can't unhear Zico. Yeah, I don't know what the third chord is. Okay. We've moved on past that. Point is, I want to explore for a date because you get to learn the other person and you also get to learn the world around you, which is fun for everyone. Because even if the person ends up being trash, at least you got to go on like a cool day, you know? It would suck if they were trash and you didn't even really get to do anything new, you know? Okay, Maddie says, yeah, I had the same barber when I was 14 and I don't trust anyone else with my hair. Yeah, I was going to the same barber for a very long time. Oh, such a sick flow. I want to talk about effect. Cause and effect, baby. I know in hip hop we have the term sunning someone. What is the non hip hop version of sunning? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? SONNING. What is that to non? What is that if you're not hip hop? What is that if you're not just a black person? This song is called Over and Under. Generally, that's flexing on someone, as I understand it. What was the question on me? Flexing. I feel like. Okay, alright. I talk about sunning sometimes, and I talk about OGs, usually not in the stream because I feel like that terminology can sometimes miss people, but somebody that I would refer to as my OG in music is like Daedalus, hilariously enough, you know. I love that man. I love that man more than a lot of people. And I think that Daedalus respectfully suns me a lot of the time, which is just like, hey, like, basically without me, there's probably not a you. And there's no, like, real loving, appreciative way to say that, so we'll just say sunning for now. Or just being like, these are your kids. These are your kids in the industry. These are your kids in the scene. It's just like, yo, if I didn't do my path, you wouldn't have been able to be here. It's literally sunning. Like, my dad can look at me and go, hey, if I'm not here, you're not here. So respect what I'm doing. So I think, yeah, not sunning. That's funny. Getting darker. So in that way, in the art world, right? People. Oh, I love this conversation. People don't have the ability all the time to follow a trail. And when I say follow a trail, I mostly mean following inspiration, seeing what happened where. Like, people can go, hey, without Lil' Kim, there's probably no Nicki Minaj. Without Nicki Minaj, there's probably no Meg Thee Stallion. Without Meg Thee Stallion, there's probably no, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We can see how everything trickles down, right? Without Frank Sinatra, there's probably no Michael Bublé, you know? You can see inspiration, you can see very clear directions being taken. And so, something really interesting about art, I'll say, I'm not going to limit it to music, is we all follow trails. We follow trails of like, oh, this cartoon looked like this. Adventure Time looked like this. And then Steven Universe looks like this. But this person that made Steven Universe was actually on the team for Adventure Time. And like, Clarence looks like this. And the person that was on the team for this. And you can kind of follow a trail, if that makes sense. Good morning, Kid James. You can follow the trail. even if you don't want to call those people your inspirations, because I feel like I don't use that term very often, you can look at people in the art world and go, without them, my art probably doesn't look, sound, feel like this. They informed my style to some degree, whether it was conscious or subconsciously. They informed me. And something really hard to do in art is see the people you've informed. So I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. One of the reasons that this is hard to see is because we're on the internet, and there could be there's somebody like Sevka, right, who apparently likes my music a lot, but they're so far away that if I didn't have Instagram and the YouTube stream, I wouldn't know they exist. Heck, there's probably somebody in a country that I'm not even thinking about right now that listens to my music all the time, but they just don't have social media maybe, or they aren't somebody that's hyperactive on social media, so I'm just never going to hear from them. These are just unavoidable truths, right? But because of that size of the scene, you don't know who's watching or listening. I'm cooking. I forgot to come back. It's okay, Symphonic Charms. But it's hard to see that because those people are so far away. Those people are so far away from you and not ever present, not always visible. Another reason why this is hard to see is because sometimes as artists, I'm going to include any of the artists in this stream, sometimes we will downplay our own reach and influence, or like circle of influence. The people that we influence, not the people we're influenced by. And I think that it's an ego thing. I think that's why a lot of us do it. But sometimes it might behoove you to even have that conversation or just like look around. There are a few artists, right? There are a few artists, and it's like, I'm not going to name drop them because one, they didn't pay me to promote them. And two, what I'm going to say might come off as negative, and I don't want it to feel like an attack or an indictment on them. But there are some artists who maybe they'll randomly get like suggested to my Discover Weekly on Spotify, or maybe they'll show up on SoundCloud or something like that. And I'm like, one, there is zero way that this person does not know my music. And two, they are just like wholesale ripping my sound and song and style. And it's so obvious. Like, I'm like, there's no way that this person is like, I've never heard of Omnipoid before. And sure enough, when I go onto like their SoundCloud, like reposts or whatever, from like a year ago, it's just a bunch of my music. Or they've liked every track, or they commented on a bunch of songs. And I'm like, okay, all right. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. But it's something that's really hard to track with how big the internet is. Like, you can't hear it. And I honestly think, in things like hip hop, there is a system of respect given to OGs or people that, helped shape things. There doesn't seem to be that same thing in the SoundCloud world. There are a lot of artists who I feel like heavily contributed to the sound, the memorable quality, of, or iconicism of certain acts that just are not having a good time. While the people that they have inspired, their children in the scene, are able to appreciate and enjoy the benefits of the art that they are creating. I think it's a weird thing. It's almost like collectivism, like collectivist art, where it's like maybe a bridge, right? An old bridge, not a bridge in today, because we build a bridge in like a week today. But like, it used to take people years and years and years and years to build a bridge or a building. And some people would die during the project. There's like people that would start working on a bridge and they would expire before they would get to see the finished product, Or there was people that would start working on the bridge, and they never saw it in its early phases, and then they got to see it finished. And I think that that's true also in art. In art, there's like a lot of things that we try to accomplish, or we try to push forward, and it does eventually get there, I think. Um, it does eventually get there, but sometimes it's a collectivist thing. You know, somebody picks up the slack, like maybe I contribute this to music, and then this person contributes that to the music industry, and then this person contributes that, and then somebody that's not even born yet later is going to grab those things and make something dope with them, and then they will be like the visionary. And it's just, you know, sometimes it's weird to think that you are or were or will be a part of that whole thing, that building, that bridge that's being built. Anywho, what happened to Bowen a while back, says Ani. Happened with Bowen a while back, except the dude just straight up ripped one of his songs as a sample in their Rick and Morty dubstep. Yeah. Bowen and me also get our music just stolen a lot. Bowen's had their music stolen and put in a cell phone ad in China, and like Bowen like was just like, yo, I didn't. Nobody asked me if they can use this. Bowen's had a lot of his music used in things and was not paid for him. This is a thing that does happen to us a lot. We actually had a really long talk about it. It was a sad talk. We were just like recounting all the time somebody stole our music and we didn't get paid for it and had very little legal action to take. It was a sad conversation, but I'm glad we had it. Be an inspiration to others and be glad that you are iconic. What you're describing is effectively royalties, Omni, in the literal sense. Literal royalties. Ooh. Oh. Sometimes I don't even want financial royalties for something. I mean, obviously, if somebody steals my music or they sample my music and something like that, yeah, I do want that. But I think, yeah, royalties can sometimes honestly just be like, hey, like, this was inspired by so and so. Or like, hey, that, like, respect to homie, like, he's the GOAT, he's an OG. Like, I always give respect to Daedalus because I honestly do feel like if Daedalus didn't sound and produce the way he did, same with Flying Lotus, when they were, my music would sound a little bit different now. I want to say so. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about. It's a weird thing to see happen. You know, something. I don't know why this is. This is gonna get a little bit more vague. If my works help you, please help me. Is generally my position. Wow, that's so much more eloquent and concise than anything I could have said about it, Jesse. Wow. I'm gonna move on then. Yeah, I don't need to say anything past that. Anything I say past that is just gonna muddy the point even more. So yeah, if my work helps you, please help me. That's dope. Um, somehow there's this weird thing that happens to humans. You guys are humans. You'll understand this. Seeing things happen, seeing things happen in real time is always weird. Even though you know it happens, right? You know generally how a candy bar is made in a factory or somewhere. Like machines like squirt tubes of goop and then the goop goes and it gets smashed into a shape or something like that. But then when you actually look at it happen, something happens to you. I'm sure there's a really, really cool psychological word or um, process that's happening beyond just comprehension of process. But it's almost exciting seeing the process of something. Everybody knows I make music, but people will still come into a production stream and watch me make music, even if it's like boring and kind of dull, because like, oh, I get to see how something's made, you know, see how the sausage gets made. And I think I know animals eat in the wild, but seeing, like looking out my window and seeing a squirrel like go and like get a nut and then like bury it like fascinating to me. It's more fascinating than video games, you know. If like somebody was like, you want to play Last of Us 2 or you just want to like go into the forest and watch squirrels do their thing, I'm like, yo, saddle up for the squirrels. I want to see them do their thing. And so people do like seeing the process of how things are done, how things happen. And something that's weird about music is that even though we know music is, and art, all art, even though that we know art is this kind of collective, collaborative, cohesive, we know that it's a community of unique minds that are all creating this one big tidal wave that is art. and somebody would be like, I'm gonna do abstract this, and somebody's like, what, do you guys know what pointillism is? And like, people will contribute stuff, and then in the end we end up with like these really really cool hybrids of different things. This food's the same way if you think about the way spices work and hybrid restaurants. Sorry, not hybrid. Fusion. That's the word. Fusion restaurants. Fusion restaurants were a big thing for a really long time. Still kind of are. But if you really think about a lot of restaurants, especially here in Los Angeles, everything's kind of a fusion. You know, you go to like a donut place, but they also have like Mexican pastries, and a donut is not a Mexican pastry. So even that in itself is a fusion of sorts. You know, you go into Applebee's and they have like, I don't know, chicken parm, but then they also have baby back ribs, and I'm like, this is a fusion restaurant. Even though nobody thinks of Applebee's when somebody says a fusion restaurant, it is. It is though. It is. Culture has become all fusion, all types of hybrids and collaborations and combinations, and so we all know that that's true. We know that that exists, but it's weird to see those things happen in real time. It's weird to see an artist very clearly inspired by X, you know, create Y, and then you see somebody come up and make Z, and something is big, right? Maybe all X, Y, and Z are really, really big and famous and popular and cherished, but sometimes it's like only Z is the thing that people are like, wow, so cool. And then the people that know are like, I remember X and Y. I know what went into creating Z, but people just don't know. You know, seeing things actually happen in real time in the industry is very, very strange. Very strange. I was talking. I went hiking pretty recently too, Oni. Word up, cause. I hope you enjoy your breakfast. I hope it's easy to make. I have to think about what I'm gonna make for breakfast. But crap. I was gonna say something. Fusion, X, Y, and Z, inspiration, the way it tracks, um, music. Yeah, I guess I lost it. Anyways, this song is called Liminality. Inept Concept says, I've noticed that the trend of building upon others' work as I've been going through early rap recently. Yeah, very, very popular in hip hop. Okay, okay, okay. Things used to feel so much tighter, you know? I can remember when, like, there was, like, me, Bowen, Maxo, Divio, in the blue shirt, Uchiko, some others. Sorry, honorable mentions, no word, I suppose. There's some others that were really tight and doing a very specific style. And okay, so I was working with Mac. A lot of you guys know that I was playing music with Mac. I have a stream with Mac this Friday, and Mac has a roommate named Joaquin. Really, really dope. Really, really dope. Really, really dope dude. Makes music. Who doesn't make music? It's Los Angeles. Everybody makes music. And so, the first time I came over there, he was like, "Oh, so you make music?" I'm like, "Yeah, I make music. I make music under Omniboy." He's like, "Sick. I'll have to check out some of your stuff." It's a thing people say, but they rarely do. Anyways, he actually did it, so that's cool. But when I went back, he was like, "Oh, like I really like what I heard. So you make like a lot of like like you put a lot of like video game sounds in there, and you're doing a lot of this." And I was like, I think for a really really long time, unless something changes dramatically in like my distribution, if I get like signed to a label or something like that, if somebody Googles Omniboy, unfortunately, I know exactly what's coming up, and it's not going to show up in chronological order. If they Google Omniboy, they're going to hear Nice Dream, and so if somebody today in 2020 was like, "Oh, you make music? What is your name? Omniboy?" and they look up music, they're by default typically hearing music that came out roughly 5 years ago, and no longer is very indicative of what my sound is. And I felt it was like this really weird conversation to navigate because he was talking about like, oh, I just kind of thought that because he's heard me play piano, he was like, oh, I thought your stuff would be like a little bit more jazzy or something like that, like have more piano in it. It's weird that like your piano playing is so different from what your music sounds like. And I just didn't know how to tell him like, yeah, bro, like it doesn't sound like that anymore. Hmm. Doing a stippling render of Stipling, maybe? I'm not smart. Doing a Stipling render of DeAndre Hitchcock's new album currently. Ooh. Deontay? Deontay Hitchcock? Dante? Hmm. Well, I hope that goes well on Inept Concept. I hope it goes well. The song is called Winter Heart. Whoa, no way, honey. Did I nail your music takes on the head? I love seeing all of you find your feet individually. What certain sounds popped off in certain ways. Not to compare you all to each other. Of course, also super unique. No, I get that. I mean, we're all friends, so I don't mind being compared to my friends, I suppose. Um, Yeah, it's weird. If somebody listened to my music right now and listened to Bowen's music and listened to Ujiko's music and listened to And the Blue Shirts music and listened to Day Day Mouse's music and listened to Nelworth's music and listened to Maxo's music, they wouldn't think any of us sound like similar at all. But back then, in like 2015, 16, we were essentially different branches on the same tree. Hmm. Your music is kind of like what you were talking about having many different inspirations, so I understand how they might have a hard time categorizing it. Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. Hey guys, this shirt is from Korea. Oh, that feels good. I know you can't tell because it's a stream, but this shirt is made out of towel material. Like think of the material that like a towel, you know, like a shower towel is made out of. It's really soft and it like that feels nice. It's very very nice. I love this shirt. Anyways, when I went to Korea and I played at a place called Soap Nightclub, and all of their stuff, all of their merch was like soap themed and shower themed and like bathtub themed. And I was like, I really want a shirt so bad because I had like a mishap with my luggage and I lost a lot of my clothes, and so I was like, I just need to buy clothes, and it's cool. I'm performing at this club tonight, so give me that shirt. And oh my god, I wore this shirt the whole next day. Oh, yeah, it's a good shirt. I don't wear it very often because it is white, and I'm just afraid. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm not afraid to admit it. Okay, Lindsay says, "What's the little thing on the pocket area?" It's a bar of soap. It's a bar of blue soap. I think it says soap on the back too. Does it say soap anywhere on the back? I think it's way up here. I think it says soap. Anyways, it's an amazing shirt, guys. I would love to go back to Seoul just so I could buy like, no joke, like 5 more of these. That's how. Ugh. You know when you get out of a shower and you're wearing a towel and you're thinking, I don't want to put on clothes. Can't we just do this all day? That's what it feels like. Anyways, I lost some of my luggage at the airport and I had no shampoo, soap, toothbrush, etc. Yeah, Soap Nightclub has toothbrushes as merch. Like you can get a soap toothbrush. It's marvelous. But yes, that is a struggle. And I'm sorry that happened to you, Ava. Put it on after a shower, no need to towel. Oh, I wish I had pants that were made out of this material. No, shorts. Did I finish Over and Under? I did not. Wait, what is that? I don't know what that is. I love a good basic white shirt with the correct sleeve length. So I was sold. Yeah, I'm into it. Omni Boy makes good background noise to fill up my lonely life. Oh, I feel the same. Life is lonely. Might as well fill it with music. women's sleeves, why do they do that thing? Why do they do that thing where they go up like this instead of full sleeves? Is there a reason for that? Is there a reason for that that I don't know because I'm not a woman? I've just started hunting for towel terry cloth t-shirts now. Oh, Jesse, did I get you? Ew, polos. I'm joking, but I wouldn't. Um, please get towel shirts. Get towel shirts and just do this. I've been caught doing this on the subway when I wear this shirt, which, you know, don't wear white shirts on the subway. No room, no reason, says Lindsay. Yeah, it's really bad. It makes me sweat more. Oh, my laptop's gonna die, guys. Hold on, my laptop's gonna die. I'll be right back. This is weird. I didn't even think about that. Oh, that breeze feels so nice. You gotta love a good breeze, guys. Who knows when I'm gonna get another one? Probably about 10 seconds. Oh, my laptop turned off anyway, because screw me, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna play. What's the song that's not on Signals? Ah, I've got it. I have not done Ego Death yet. Whoa! Oh my god. Maddie, it works with the same chords from catching up. Oh, that's wild. That's funny. It was an accident, but it worked out. Whose hair is this? It's definitely not mine. Oh, we talking about Hollow Knight? Cyber. Okay, 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 okay. You wouldn't happen to remember the chords you played on Shilling, would you? Ooh, Shilling. I'd have to rehear it. Rehear it? Re-listen? Buddy. Ba 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 da ba da da. Ba mi da. Ma mi da. Buddy. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 Sorry, I just heard that in my head and I had to play it out loud. Shilling, shilling, shilling. There's too many songs on Lush Dream. There it is. Woo! This is gonna be a hard one. I was playing lazy chords there. Okay. No. 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 So those are all the wrong chords. I just need to get to I need to get to the right chords. Oh, Lindsay, thank you. What the heck? Oh. Oh. It's for my hairline. Lindsay, I shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have done that. I can't believe people hung out with me. I went hamburger on that. Quiet, quiet. Oh, there's the first chord. Ooh, no. I'll find it, but I'm gonna get there. I'm getting closer now than I was a second ago. Ding. Okay, 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 okay. Bee, ba, bee, ba, ba. Bee, ba, bee. It's there. It's there. I'm just missing the last chord, guys. Victim. Guys, I actually know that girl in that song. these are the chords. These are the chords I dreamed of. So quick story on shilling. I'm gonna make it really quick because I have done this story before. Shilling is the nickname of a British foreign exchange student that I got to be very, very close with in one of the years that start with 20. I can't remember. 2012, 2013? I don't know. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Point is, um, we were friends. She was a friend of a friend, actually. We went on a road trip. The five of us. Me, her, and three other people that were more closer to her than I was. And at a certain point in that road trip, everybody else fell asleep, and she was sitting in the passenger seat because she was not asleep. And you know how the rules are for road trips. You can't fall asleep in the passenger seat or else we'll all die. So everybody that was sleeping had to sit in the back, and Shilling sat up front shotgun. And by that point, we weren't like super close, but we just talked, and we like bonded over like really liking drum and bass. Like she was a big drum and bass person. And there was this artist named Sophie Ellis Bextor that I was really into, and I was like, "Do you know Sophie Ellis Bextor?" Because I knew Sophie Ellis was from England. She was like, "How do you know about her?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just dig through stuff." And so we kind of just like talked about Sophie Ellis, talked about Calvin Harris, and it was really really cool actually. And I was like, "Oh, I think this is my friend now. I think that this is my friend." And then later, we all ended up going after her foreign exchange thing was over. We ended up going to England to visit her, and I got to meet her parents and stuff like that. And then years and years later, once music was the thing, I made the song Shilling, and I was like, it would be really cool to have her voice on. She was like, I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not like a singer. I don't have like any lyrics I can write. And I was like, if you could just, tomorrow when you go to work, can you just record yourself saying all the stops on the train, on your way to work, and I'll put it in a song. And she was like, I don't think that'll sound good. And I was like, trust me, it'll sound fine. It'll sound fine. Nobody cares. And then she did it. And that's what the random words are from the song Shilling. She's just saying, tube stops, because they call it the tube there. Knuckleheads. Sounds like the intro chords to a Space Cowboy from Jamiroquai. Ooh, I love that song. Oh, a fly just entered. Yeah, baby, there it is. Who asked for this song? Who asked me to play this? Oh, well, thank you, Cyber, for requesting that. I don't know that I would have been able to remember those chords if you hadn't requested that I do it. The funny thing about Less Dream songs is they're all pretty minimal, so it's easy for me to like learn them in, a few seconds just by sounding out the chords and relearning them by ear. But it isn't until you have to like break down your own life experiences. Ooh, changing the subject. It isn't until you have to break down your own life experiences that you realize that you've had one. I think I remember being a kid and listening to my dad constantly talk about stuff, and it was like, yo, homie's life is a movie, is what I used to think. My dad had a Jeep, and he was I actually still don't really know what that job was. He worked for the government, and it had something to do with like irrigation, and like he was like a surveyor of water projects, like projects for like building canals and stuff. Very complicated stuff for my little brain, and so I wasn't really understanding what he was doing. But I knew for a while he would like drive a Jeep around, and he would like go to this portable. I call them portables because of school, but it was like a trailer thing, like a building that, looks like a trailer. He would go to this trailer like out in the middle of the desert where there was like another guy at a desk with papers, and they would talk and say stuff. And my dad would go, yeah, 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 then sign stuff, and then we'd go out and look at another thing, and my dad would like measure stuff. I don't know, it was really boring for me as a kid, but I remember on those long Jeep rides, I remember my dad having sunflower seeds and peanuts and like eating things and then just talking. Yeah, and then I told so and so to do this, and then that's when John came. And your Uncle George. Yeah, George at the time, he still lived with so and so, and we went there and went did this, and then they got arrested. Somebody called the cops. So I got in my truck and I drove all the way out to Las Vegas, and we were like, let's find work out here. It's just like I would listen to him talk, and I was like, yo, homie's had a life. Nothing interesting has happened in my life. I've just played video games, and once yeah, I guess that was it. Sorry, there wasn't a beat to that. I just played video games. That was like what the whole first part of my life was. And then, eventually you start like telling people things about your life, right? Something that was interesting about my dad's life is he would mention somebody who's like, oh yeah, and then Janet came over and she had this, and I'm like listening to him, so I'm like, oh, who's Janet? And he's just like, oh, that's this woman that used to run with so and so, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, where's Janet now? And he's like, I don't know. I'm sure she's still out there somewhere, doing her thing. I don't know. Maybe she has some kids. And I'm like, what? There are people in your life that you no longer have contact with? Because me as a kid, I'm like, I know all the people in my life, and I talk to them. There's nobody in my life currently that I just don't talk to because they have left. Anywho, eventually I got to a point where I would tell people stories about something that happened. Like, oh, and then this one time, like Dobby pulled a bat out on me, and then we almost got a tour ending fight. And there's like this one time when Jeffree Star said this to me, and I still can't stand that person. Like, there's like a lot of these like weird stories where it's like those people still exist in the world. People just don't think I know them, and probably for good reason. I shouldn't know these people. But yeah, life just happens to you. I think even if you like stay in the same town and you try to do very little to nothing, life still happens to you. It's pretty fascinating. Anyways, Shilling, I love her dearly. I don't know when or if I'll ever see her again, but um, she made the song what it is. So you get your storytelling genes for your pops. I wish there were storytelling genes. That'd be kind of cool. You had to interact with Jeffree. I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you, Ava. Yeah, I was on tour with Jeffree for a little while, and it was awful. We got in several arguments, and when I got off the tour, or I should say, when I was removed from the tour, I was in a band, by the way, not as Omni Boy. I didn't tour with Jeffree Star's Omni Boy. I remember telling all of my friends, yo, Jeffree's trash, bro. And a lot of my friends and my girlfriend at the time were big Jeffree stans. So they were like, you mad sensitive. I'm sure they didn't mean that. A lot of people are just intimidated by like strong, unique people. And Jeffree's had like a really hard life. And I was like, yo, screw homie. Like next time I see him, it's hands on sight. And everybody was like, you're problematic. And now, now they come to me, Omni, I can't believe you were on tour there. This person sounds like a monster. Anyways, gotta buy their makeup because it's quality. Anyway, I don't like Jeffree Star, but yeah, you get some stories. Right? Oh crap, we're still live? How long has this stream been going on? I'm past 2 hours, guys. We did it. Oh, the stream did go down for a little while, and I did start late. Boom, 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 boom. The makeup isn't even that good from what I've heard, says Maddie. Or that. This is good enough that it sells out every time, I guess. Okay. Whoa, even Isidore hates Jeffree Star. That's great. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be celebrating hate. It's just wild that hate has no bounds, right? It can even, it can cross borders. Okay, alright. Yeah, I had to allow the comment. You're welcome, Lindsay. Okay, alright, okay. Yeah, yes, Ava. Oh, do you guys not hear me? Oh, no, you don't like it either. That's fair. Liana, you don't like a lot of the people I don't like. I think that's why I like you. I think we've bonded for our dislike of others. It's good, strong bonds. Very strong bonds. Why did my grandma used to say scrong? Have we talked about that in the stream? Is that a Southern thing? Yes, it is, as far as I know. Oh, Lindsay, something really interesting. Something really interesting about me is I didn't technically grow up in the South. I always say that. I always say that. I always make sure to remind people that I did not grow up in the South. I'm just raised by Southern people. So a lot of Southern sensibilities kind of bled into my upbringing. And like a lot of the words and sayings and expressions and a lot of the mentality that I had was pretty Southern, but it had little to no bounds or bearing, sorry, not bounds, little to no bearing in Arizona. Arizona is more Western cultured than it is Southern cultured, but my parents are Southern. All of my best friendships are built on mutual hate, says Manny. Gotta grow up big and strong. I'm gonna release a song called Strong, Big, Big and Strong. Okay. Um, I don't remember what we were talking. Oh, stories. Yeah, so you have stories. Like when I think about Schilling, I have so many cool stories about and centered around Schilling. But Schilling is not really a person that's like in my life. Every now and then I'll talk about like a cop doing something really whack, and then Schilling will respond on it on social media being like, "Yo, cops in America sound wild. Be safe." But other than that, we don't really talk that much. Her boyfriend's a fan of my music, so sometimes um, I'll like say something to him, like he'll have a little music thing on Instagram, and I'm like, "Hey, this is rad, dude," and I think it makes him happy. At least I hope it does, because he's not my friend. His girl's my friend. It's 100% the folks who cancel on the tip of the hat and also turn around by Jeffrey. Oh, ooh, Ava, don't do it, Ava. Ava, let's not get into the grids. Not right now. We're already 2 hours deep. It's too late. It's too late for that conversation. Because that conversation will last an hour in the stream. I'm not going to talk about cancel culture in the stream right now. I'm just not going to do it. But I will say, if you guys see, sorry, I do not trust cats. Okay, hey Kiwi, welcome to the final moments of the stream. I'm glad you were able to make it. We're winding down a little bit here, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about that Ava. We're not going to talk about canceling people today. Maybe in a future stream. All I'll say on it now, and then I'll move on, is that we're living in chaos, and in chaos, there are no rules, and just because something happens to somebody doesn't mean it will happen to someone else. My experience with the police is not your experience with the police. Not all people that are bad are held accountable, and not all people that are held accountable are. Whoa! What the heck? There's a helicopter landing like at the end of my street. Can they do that? Can helicopters just land on the street? They can't do that. Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear the helicopter? I mean, it's gotten quiet now because it's gotten really low. That's weird. Um, uh, I mean, you can't see it now. It drops down behind the built, like, I mean, my view isn't the best from here. Maybe if I had, like, another story up. Did you guys hear it? Crap, what the heck was I talking about? Today's movie recommendation is Metropolis, which is a Japanese take on the sci-fi classic Ava. Ava, I haven't seen the sci-fi classic of that, but I have seen that movie. And that movie informed quite a bit of music that I've made. I've talked briefly in the stream about how Paprika, Metropolis, and several other kind of kitschy art anime films were a big inspiration to things like Nice Dream and even Love Dream. Metropolis was huge. I actually used to watch Metropolis on mute while I made music. So I appreciate your recommendation. Very good film. It's if you it's by the same Astro Boy people, so it looks like Astro Boy. If you guys think Astro Boy is pretty, it looked like that. If you like Astro Boy, says, oh my god, if you like Astro Boy, check it out. The styles, of course, that's funny. I should have just not said anything. Anyways, yeah. Um, Lindsay says cancel culture is similar to law enforcement, and the rich white people aren't really affected by it, and marginalized people are. Yeah. Oh, there's something I want to say, but I can't really talk about right now because there's some wild stuff going on. But yeah. The song at the end, iconic. Indeed, Ava, indeed. Omni, you've seen, of course I have, Ava. You're the first person to have seen it ever that I've talked to. Interesting. Is Omni weeaboo since Toha? Oh, Toha. I wish Gabriel was in here because Gabriel's a true weeaboo. No, I'm not a weeaboo. I'm what has been lovingly referred to as post-weeb. Post-weeb being that a lot of my early inspirations and lifestyle were informed by anime and Japanese culture, and now I have matured a little bit out of that to where like I have an appreciation for it, but I do not have like I don't run to it, you know. Like for example, I would say that my roommate's more of a weeb than I am. Like that new BNA anime that came out on Netflix, like it came out like yesterday or something. My roommate like already watched all of it. Like if there's a new One Piece thing out, they've watched it or read it. If there's new anything, like they consume it. For me, it's more so I do appreciate the stuff, but I'm not um, I'm not there. I'm not a weeb anymore. Anyways. Da 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 da. Oh, ba-da-ba-da. Tony, I'll watch the movie when the wolf falls in love with the sheep. Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, Isidora, please do. Please do. Please do watch that movie. I love that movie. Tonight, Isidora's going to watch it, and we'll have one more person that has seen that movie. I'll always say the trends you followed as a teen, you grow away from, but you take the best parts with you. Oh, that's beautiful, Ani. That's beautiful and probably true. I think that I have like I'm no longer putting like Sailor Moon type beat, you know, on my songs, and I'm no longer like getting voice actor friends to make cute anime girl noises on my songs. But there is something, you know, about anime that probably has stuck with me creatively, whether or not I can really put my finger on it. Okay, I've cosplayed once in my life, and I don't get consumed with whatever I'm into. I'm just a fan of good and dope stuff. I can agree there, Cyber. I'm a fan, I'm not a fanatic. So, unhealthy, major yikes. This girl out here is bullying a boy, and she gets rewarded for it, says Ava. Oh boy, it's like a piece of stale bread sent for someone who's the least interesting. Oh my god. Oh my god, why is Ava going in so deep? Oh my goodness. Ava. Ava. Somebody put gloves on Ava before she kills somebody. Somebody get... Tyson can't be out here without the gloves. It's actually illegal. Those fists are deadly weapons. Ava. Ava, if we're going to talk about... I hate Whisker Away. That's really funny. That's really funny. I like that. Yeah, don't simp for bullies. I haven't seen Whisker Away, so I don't have the vitriol for it. I don't have the vitriol for it, but yeah, I feel whatever you're feeling, I'm sure, for some other things. I think simping sounds like so much fun. It sounds like a freaking wow. It sounds like a world of excitement. But I just I don't know where people find the energy. I don't know where people find the energy to do it. Kids on the Slope is a good one, says Ava. A lot of people recommend Kids on the Slope to me. I still have yet to see it. But I gotta be honest, it made me... Okay, so the thing about that, Oni, I mean, when you were talking about like high school and that mentality and things inspiring you when you're younger, that's why I refer to myself as post-weeb. Just like how my genre, I know a lot of you guys won't remember this, but for a really long time, my genre was listed as post-chip. If you guys know what chiptune is, a lot of the people in the chiptune industry left chiptune around 2015 and 16, and we started making slightly more experimental, um, less limited forms of music. But we put little chiptune beeps and bops and Game Boy sounds in it, so people will refer to us as post chip or post chiptune. And I feel like I'm just existing in a weird world where I'm like post everything, but I'm not particularly identifying as being in anything. It's weird. Yeah, being an ex-weeb is cool. Simping in as a lifestyle, says Lindsay. I agree, probably. I mean, K-pop stands, that feels like a simp move. But if K-pop stands at OnlyFans, I guess it would be more of a simp move. Do you know the definition of simp? Um, Here's the thing, Liana. The definition of simp has changed drastically. I would say in the past year, maybe even less time, maybe even the past 6 months. So I know what simping is been morphed into, unfortunately, but I also know that that is not what its original definition and intention was. It's like, I know what simping is. I've just picked it up from context, says Maddie. You're probably using it right in current context, right? It's just like how dabbing started off as one thing and then kind of got perverted into being just a thing like suburban kids did when they wanted to, I don't know, appear cool. I don't know. They really did ruin that. Oh, God. Ugh, sorry. Ugh. Anyways, nowadays Fitz uses to just say that you're pining for someone who's not worth it. Yeah. It's like extreme fealty. It's like Brock with Officer Jenny and Officer Joy. Oh, or Nurse Joy. Why am I using an anime reference? This is disgusting. I'm pretty sure I have a real life. It's like Steve Urkel was like simping for Laura. Remember that? Remember Urkel? Remember when everybody said that I looked like Urkel? Remember when they finally stopped doing that? Anyways, hi Dar, welcome. I forgot about the stream, says Dar. I didn't, Dar. If I did, we'd be in trouble. But I'm glad that you're here, Dar. Thank you. You're at the last ending of this, or the last part of the stream. We're at the dregs right now. We're just going through the crumbs. Maddie says, mostly I just see memes that are making fun of people that make fun of simping. It's like levels of deep. Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Things get meta pretty fast on the internet. It's supposed to be an insult, but folks use it for themselves enough. It's for kids that lost power and almost immediately. Okay. It's lost its power almost immediately. Yeah, I mean, once the internet gets a hold of something, it'll lose all of its power. That'll happen. I don't want to talk about simping anymore. Oh goodness. The meaning has been twisted to mean a person who is willing to spend money and please loyalty. Yeah, okay, wow. Very eloquent and very concise. Yes, cyber has it. For example, a lot of people are simping for Belle Delphine, people that were buying that bathwater and drinking it and stuff like that. Those are simp moves. Somebody that's giving their all for somebody that really doesn't care. You gotta. I feel like if you subscribe to somebody's OnlyFans, they should be called simps. What are customers of OnlyFans called? I guess they're just called OnlyFans. I guess they're just called fans. They're only called fans. Oh, Christ. Anyways, only simps would be good. Somebody should get started on that. Like, you're just sending folks jars of water with a little dish soap in it for $30 a piece. What a legend! Yeah, that was a wild move. There's this really weird thing that happens in society. There's this really weird thing that happens in society where a bad thing exists, quote unquote. I know I'm going point negative on this, and I apologize for that. It's just let me just get past it for a second. Bad, quote unquote, bad things will happen or exist in life. Like, say there's a restaurant that's like, we're gonna be so mean to you if you come to our establishment. This is an actual thing, by the way. I mean, I'm putting on my joke voice, but there actually is a place called Dick's Last Resort in downtown San Diego, the Gaslamp District, and their whole thing is, as is a lot of restaurants around the nation, I know, it's a gimmick or like a quirk where it's like, we're gonna be so mean to you. We're gonna insult you. Your food's gonna come all sloppy. We might give you the wrong thing, and then we're gonna roast you while you eat. That is a thing. Now, somebody can look at that and go, that's so stupid. What a dumb idea. But these companies are making a lot of money. So then do you look at the customers and go, they're stupid? It creates this really weird cycle where it's like, hey, if it's making money, maybe it's not stupid. Clearly, people want this thing. If I say I'm going to sell Ziploc bags of my farts that I've stored up and people are buying it, who's the real clown? Am I the clown for selling farts? Are they the clown for buying farts? I don't know. So when Belle Delphine was selling the bathwater, it was this really weird thing where it's like people were hating on her for selling the bathwater, but I'm like, hey, people are buying it, so maybe your distaste is misplaced. You know, maybe you should be upset with whoever thinks buying bathwater is worth $20. Not even a gallon of the stuff, like a little, I don't know, a couple ounces maybe of bathwater. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know who's wrong in this. I don't know who's wrong in this. Capitalism, right? Capitalism's wrong in this. Anyways, what I'm about to say is extremely cursed. Oh, I missed whatever it was. I'm really hungry. I just think the customers are okay. So Oni says, "I think the customers are the real freaks." Dick's less paradise. I mean, yeah. I've actually had that very similar conversation with somebody while we were standing across the street from Dick's and looking at it. I was like, I think this is like the birth of a lot of people's like fetish of just like wanting people to treat them like trash. It's like, oh, this is so great. Isn't this funny? Honey, isn't this so fun how they're being really mean to us and we're paying for it? Ugh. Oh, Christ. Yeah, we live in a society run by capitalism. If there is a thing and somebody somewhere is willing to pay for that thing, then that thing is now justified, is validated, because money validates things. Money and desire validates things. So if I say I'm gonna put mustard inside of tuna fish and I'm going to let it ferment, and then I'm gonna add, like, I don't know, raw eggs to it and hot sauce and vinegar, and then I'm gonna leave that and I'm gonna freeze that, and then I'm gonna blend it and make a smoothie out of it. And somebody is willing to pay for it. It is now validated as a food item. So now it can get a name, and people can say, "Oh, you haven't had Google Gosh? Like, I love me some Google Gosh." And now it's justified because somebody decided I would like that. And so, yeah, yeah. Who are you mad at? Are you mad at the product? Are you mad at the creator? Are you mad at the customer? I'm choosing to be mad at no one, but it's really hard to see. It's hard to see. It's hard to see. It's hard to see. Um, we need an actual spelling for Google Gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's the same way with art. There's definitely been times I told you guys about when I was at MagFest and like my friend was showing me like Sonic inflation art, and I was like, "Oh, who is this artist that's making all of these stupid pictures of Sonic being inflated with a bicycle tire?" And they were like, "What do you mean one artist? This isn't one artist. This is like a whole like this is a world, baby. Like there's lots of people that want to see Sonic like inflated and like a freaking balloon. That's what gets them off, baby. They want balloon Sonic." And I was like, "Oh, that's like." I wanted to say like that's ridiculous and stupid, but if this many people like it, it just becomes like kind of validated as a thing, you know? Anywho, It's like the whole repetition legitimizes argument, except with just, people want something. People are willing to pay money for it. You now have an industry. Yeah, I apologize, Lindsay. This conversation has been kind of wild. Hasn't made any sense. Hasn't made any sense. What is something I want? What is something I like that's not the norm? I would like sandwiches that are mostly bread. Omni, have you found a Rule 34 of yourself? I have not. I hope I never do. It'll force me to ask some questions that I don't really want to know the answers to. I like to think of myself as never mind. I'm not gonna go down that road. Anywho, what was I saying before the cybers sidetracked me with the Rule 34? What was I saying? Oh, what's something I want? Okay, I want bread. I want sandwiches that are mostly bread. I realize that this is not a thing that this is not a thing that people want. People want meat in their sandwiches. They want extra meat. If anything, they want double meat, double cheese, triple meat, triple cheeseburger. They want like whatever that thing that Jack in the Box was selling, where it was like 4 patties of chicken. They want um, a lot. They want a lot of meat in their sandwiches, and I'm the opposite of that. I want mostly bread. I'm the type of person that gets pizza and then gets breadsticks on the side, and every time I take like 1 bite of pizza, I take like 2 bites of the breadstick. I love bread. And so that's my Belle Delphine bathwater. What does that mean? Sound mad boring? I'm sure there's something else weirder that I would like, that borders on like a strange industry that just doesn't exist. But like if it did, they could have all my money. I don't know what that is for me. Omni says, Dar, you seem like the type of person that would turn around on the interstate to avoid going down that road. Yeah, I'm not going to go down that road. Because the reason that I'm not going down the Rule 34 road is because the thing I was going to say was going to call a specific artist by name, and I don't want to do that. And also, there are some people, I don't know, some people that like know me very well probably watch this. But like as an artist, I see myself as like not as like a sexual being, if that makes sense. Like there's been times where like I've looked at some other artists. I feel okay mentioning some of these people because it's not in a poor context. But I've seen like people like Luca Lush, or I've seen people like Alexander Lewis. Some of you guys don't even know who these people are, so that's good. I've seen people like that, perform, and they'll like take off their shirt on stage, and they're climbing up on top of the CDJs, and everybody, all the ABGs in the car are like, oh my god, ah! And they're like screaming and they're crying. And I've looked and I've watched and I've listened and I've learned and I've studied and I've researched, and I've thought to myself, I don't think of I don't think of any form of like sensuality or sexuality exists in my art. And when I'm performing, I don't think that it that is communicated, right? I think that there are definitely some like hypersexed, which is a term that I promise I won't say again in the stream. But I think there are some of those artists who are like, when they step up on stage, they're intentionally sexualizing their act because that's kind of part of it. I think that very little of my act or performance actually even includes my personality. This stream is my personality for the most part. But when I go and I perform on stage, there isn't this much talking, there isn't this much information or perspective into my psyche. It's kind of just like I go up, I play the songs. Hey, what's up, Jaime? I go up, I play the songs, I thank the crowd, and then I leave. And so when I see people do the thing, I'm like, oh, I don't do that in my art, so I don't think anybody sees me that way. I don't think anybody sees me as like, I don't think people think about sexuality or anything sexy or sex oriented when they're like listening to Lush Dream or listening to my music or watching me stream or watching me perform, as opposed to an act like Doja Cat. People see Doja Cat, even if Doja Cat's completely clothed and standing very still, people will see Doja Cat as being, a specific way. And if I'm not just going to like pick on a female artist, I'll say people will do the same thing to Masego. If you know who or don't know who Masego is an artist who plays keyboard as well, drums, plays saxophone, but he is like a sexual artist. A lot of his songs are very sensual in nature. He plays a saxophone, which for whatever reason in society has been attributed to being like a sexual instrument, you know? And so I think that doesn't exist in my art. So the idea of like a Rule 34 thing, Cyber, or the idea of somebody like sexualizing me in art form is like, I feel like they would have to be doing a lot because I just feel like there isn't enough information there. Um, um, sorry, Discord's popping off. Oh crap, the Weed Whacker's popping off as well. Okay. It's because of Careless Whisper, Omni says Dar. Okay. Hold. Okay, I'll believe that. Really quickly, Omni Discord when? Hopefully never. Hopefully never, Crow. I don't like Discord. The only reason I have Discord is because of work. I don't really use it. Today's Wednesday. Jesus Christ. Hold on. I'm so sorry, guys. People don't care. People don't care that I'm streaming right now. And also, I guess the stream has gone on a little late, so it's like work started doing a thing. Okay. I don't think I can handle that energy, Dar says Ava. Yeah. Neither could I, Ava. I couldn't maintain that energy. The dread from Discord is eliciting he was palpable. Yeah, I don't hold on. Okay. Cyber says, yeah, I mean, your artwork, Omni, you could argue there is a character. Omni Boy. That's me. But I could argue, what is happening? Oh, guys, I'm like this close. I'm this close. I love you all, and I'm this close to having a mental breakdown. My computer monitor just turned on, like my desktop monitor, and it has like an error message that I can't read because I'm too far away, and then it has another thing that's counting down, so I get, maybe my computer's going to restart. I have Discord going off, my Slack channel just went off. I also have, you guys don't need to know about this. There's a, I don't know, a weed whacker outside. Okay, I'm talking about sex, I guess? Okay, Omni Boy, but you're actually Omni, so Rule 34 would just be awkward at that point since you actually exist. Yes, I agree. Cyber, it's just me. It's just a human being. Okay. Everything is falling apart. Yes, that is the theme of 2020. Everything is falling apart. That's good. This is good. I just got an extension on a deadline. There goes my weekend, though. Who needed one? Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think that the Rule 34 thing would be weird. I don't think of my art as oh, Ava, we're one and the same. I don't think of my art or my person as being particularly sexual. And honestly, I'm very grateful for that. There's somebody that drew me who's an amazing, oh god, they're bringing the leaf blower out. There's a guy, who drew me, and he did a very good job, and I love the piece of art. But he also draws a lot of lewd stuff, and I was afraid that he was gonna draw me again with like that style because I don't feel it. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like anybody has enough information even about me to do something like that. I don't wanna scroll and see something weird. Um, I don't want to do that. I don't want that to happen to me. But I am thankful that it's that very little of my personality is drawn away from my music. I think there's this really interesting thing. I'll kind of make this the closing conversation, I promise. I think there's this interesting thing in artists, right, where you want your art to have humanity, but you also want people to retain focus on your art. You don't want to always be the person that just exists as a music machine, because then if you showcase any part of your personality, people will either be rejected by it, disgusted by it, disinterested in it, or it'll ruin the illusion that you're just an art machine, right? Because if somebody draws, then one day you see them talking in a video of like, oh yeah, it's been a really rough year, you know, things are kind of falling down around me. You're kind of like, oh, this person has like thoughts and desires. I don't like that. I just want the art. Keep it to the art, baby. Keep it simple. I wanna consume these beautiful pieces of art. But it's a balance, right? Because if you let people in on too much of your personal life, then it becomes no longer about your art, and you now are not an artist. You're just a person, which nobody feels particularly interested in art-wise. You've like ruined the mystique. And so this really weird thing is like I've gone into somebody else's stream, who I will not name, but I did a stream with somebody else who was a friend of mine. She's very different than me. Her internet presence and her artistic presence is very, very sexualized. So the stream comments and conversation are very different, you know, than what happens in this stream. You know, usually a lot of enlightening conversation in the stream here. In her streams, no enlightening conversation. The people don't get along with each other. The people aren't even acknowledging each other. Some new bozo comes in, nobody's saying, good morning, bozo, welcome to the stream. Haven't seen you in the stream anytime, bozo, welcome back. No one's doing that. There is no community. It's like everybody's just like, yo, 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 I'm here for them boobies, and she's like playing a guitar or something like that, and like nobody really cares. Like, hey, can you play like Vanessa Carlton? Also boobies. And I feel like because I haven't really given a lot of other things to my personality in the stream, a lot of people like Lindsay, I have said good morning bozo to a partner. I did date somebody, and my pet name for them was Bozo. Wow. Anyways, sorry. Oh, wow, I'm sidetracked. It's a lot of that though. It's a lot. That's what her stream presence and community was like, and it was upsetting for me. No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. She called me Bobo and I called her Bozo. And I don't know where she is now and I don't care. What was I talking about? What the heck am I talking about? Cyber says Omni dates clowns. Cyber? Cyber, don't do that. Do you think I want to date clowns? Do you think that's what I want? No. Yes, I date clowns, but you think that's what I want? I'm not gonna go down that road though, but yeah, I don't want to ask myself tough questions right now. I don't know why I always date clown Cyber, but I do, and I probably will again. Okay, crap. What was I can't stay on track. I can't stay on track. What was I saying? Um. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Her stream community was trash. It was trash. And I thought to myself, the people in the stream do know points of my life, but a lot of those parts of my life are directly tied to my music identity. There are some small things. It's like, oh, Omni likes Little Caesars. I think that's a thing he likes. Yo, Omni likes Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. I think I've seen like a plush or something lying around the room. Oh, Omni likes clowns. Omni dates clowns. That's a thing. I think I heard of in the stream. I know that that's a thing. I know that's a thing, and but there isn't a lot of like. I try not to get into like too much gossipy stuff. I have a lot of friends in like the music industry that a lot of you guys know. I try never to really bring them up or mention them by name. When the whole weird thing happened with Jana, I didn't like make a stream about it because I didn't want this to be like a gossip stream or something like that, like a newsletter. At its core, this is still a music stream where you do mostly playing and we talk about art and the way people perceive art and create art and consume art. But um, it's a slippery slope, right? You want to be a human, but you also want to make sure that the art is the priority there, and people don't just want boobies. People are gross, says Cyber. A person is nice, but people are gross. Ooh. There's been quite a few quotables from this stream. I think Dar had one too. I think Daniel might have had one earlier. People are gross. A person is nice, but people are gross. Yeah, 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 yeah. Omni X Clown. Dar, I wish that you could see. I wish that you could see just a flip book of all of my exes. I would love for you to see that. Because they were all clowns. There's only one. There's only one. There's only one that I would say wasn't a clown. Ugh. Someone ever just make you miserable, but it's great. Ava says, I guess I follow. Oh, crap. Oh, it did the thing again. Oh, I can zoom out. Okay, sorry guys. I should probably wind down. The stream very clearly wants me to do that. Okay, all right. Let me just get to the bottom, and then we can go for closing things. Yeah, my technology is told me today. Anyone had a cold and tea before? I have not. I have not done the yogurt tea thing, but I've heard good things. To answer your question, yes, I have endured misery that I unfortunately enjoyed. It's weird. It's weird. I'm saying it that way sounds so much worse. It's not like I enjoyed the misery. I'm just saying it was a good time, and then I looked back on it and thought, holy crap. You know, I would not do that again. Is the sound weird? I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna close it. I promise. I have Maddie's like tech support, and I love it. Thank you, Maddie. I appreciate you. Okay. Thank you, Maddie. Guys, I have 3 releases out. Ego Death, which has 7 tracks on it, and Quick Breath, which has 7 tracks on it, and The View, which is 1 song, all on its own. You can hear these on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. We're on YouTube right now, so you can look at any of the videos that I've made, including but not limited to Quarantune's Lush Stream series or the Morning Medleys, which we have right now. Yes, Starstream, not on my watch. Me and Mia Gladstone would be proud because she gets half the royalties for that because I'm a fair producer. No shows, no merch stuff to announce right now. We're in a pandemic and a quarantine, so things haven't been dope. This song, however, is called Hush Hour. I wrote it while I was in Hong Kong, which I desperately want to return to one day. Who knows when I'll be able to travel again, but I hope it's sooner than later. This year has felt so weird. It's felt like it hasn't really been happening, you know? We're already in month 7. We're like over half of the year is gone. And like things still have to happen this year, you know? Like I still have to pay my rent as usual. We have to like have a whole election, which I don't know how that's gonna go. We have to figure out a way to like reopen the country or whatever. Heal the country. But I've never had a whole year that just ceased to exist. social life is concerned. 2020, it just doesn't exist. The song is called Hush Hour and it marks the last piece of the stream. Election time is gonna. Ooh, yes, absolutely, Umbe. I agree with you. If I found anyone votes for Connie, I'm gonna hunt you down. Please hunt them, Ava. I'll supply you. I'll supply you with hunting supplies. Maddie says, thanks for the stream, Omni. Everyone is a wavy Wednesday. Oh. Go surfing. I don't know. Well, the beaches, I think, might be closed here, but I will work with sound waves today. How's that, Maddie? I'm gonna work on some music and that'll be my wavy Wednesday. I hope everybody does have a good Wednesday, guys. The next 3 days are going to be very, very difficult for me just because I have a lot of things okay. They ate up my weekend. I can't believe they ate my weekend. I can't believe it's never ending now. Okay, anyways, yeah, there's a lot of things that I have to do for the next, not 3, but 5 days, I suppose. And so it's going to be a little stressful. This Friday's production stream, I don't know exactly how it's going to go. I'm going to try to keep it good. I'm going to try to make sure it works, but my internet went down today, so let's just hope that doesn't happen again for the Friday stream, for the production stream, I mean. So casual, had to run to the courthouse. You did make it back for the final couple of minutes of the stream, but I hope everything went well at the courthouse, and I hope you're doing A-okay. Thank you, everybody, for being respectful to me and polite to each other. It was a good conversation. We got in some good topics, I think. I hope nobody's feelings were hurt or they were annoyed or whatever. Annoyed or whatever. But yeah, it's the internet, so I do appreciate you guys for always being very pleasant and positive every morning. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for Morning Medley number 174 on Thursday. Oh. Do I say your name Joan or Joanne? I always think about it when I see it on social media, but I don't know. Can you just tell me before I end the stream? I want to know. I want to know. Thanks for being in the stream, Soothsayer. I know you were quiet, but it's Joan. Thank you, Joan. I appreciate you. Abo, everybody. What is that? Is that like the Imperial March for America?